Well, breaking news out of Finland this morning. We are getting word that Russia will cut gas supplies to the country of Finland today. As of last year, 75 to 100% of Finland's natural gas imports came from Russia. Of course, this is happening as Finland and Sweden formally applied to join NATO this week. Douglas Hickey is the U.S. ambassador to Finland. He joins us now from Helsinki. Ambassador, thank you so much for being here. How is Finland planning to fill that huge gap that now exists in terms of their natural gas needs?
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me. I think it's important to put it in context. Only 5% of the total energy requirement of Finland is represented by that gas. And just last week, I believe it was on Friday, the Finns announced an agreement with the U.S. company Accelerate out of Houston that does liquefied natural gas to mitigate that issue. And they fully expect to have that online by the fourth quarter of this year.
Oh, that's very good news. What is the latest, by the way? One of the things that propelled Russia to do this is the attempt by Finland to join NATO. Is that a done deal now?
Well, they've applied for membership in NATO. It takes all 30 countries to accept them into this process, both Finland and Sweden. But the read as we sit here today is people are very positive to have both those countries participate because they're thriving democracies. They have a great defense force. They've been preparing for this day for a long time. So the sentiment right now is very positive, not just among the United States, but around NATO as a whole.
There was a holdup, I understand, from Turkey's leader Erdogan. Has that been calm? Is he just vying for some other deal, or does he have serious objections that'll be hard to overcome?
Yeah, I don't expect they're going to be hard to overcome, but just like in any negotiation of 30 parties, you're going to have some folks that want to make sure their voices are heard in that process, and we're going to be respectful to the Turks and their requirements, but also at the same time, people feel very confident that this will be a fast process to get Finland and Sweden into NATO.
Now, finally, I'm just wondering whether Finland and Sweden, after what they've seen happen in Ukraine and so many military defeats by the Ukrainians against the Russians, do they still fear the Russian influence in their region as much as they did when this conflict began a couple of months ago?
You know, I don't think the Finns are fearful, quite frankly. They're prepared, and they've been prepared for years on the border, the 830-mile border that exists between Finland and Russia. So fear is not in the DNA of the Finns. It's preparedness, and they've been doing this for a long time. And the addition of the NATO alliance just gets them to a new level of defensive preparedness.
And we should say, by the way, that the Finns have a very powerful military of their own, don't they?
They really do. It's pretty amazing for a country of 5.5 million people. I tell people that the Finns box above their weight. And as you've just seen in the last couple months, you know, they did a major deal with Lockheed for 64 F-35 fighter jets, which makes them, from an Air Force perspective, one of the most powerful in all of Europe.
And I do have to throw in a final question about the nuclear aims, if any, of Russia. Any word on that? Because there were these rumblings that they may use the nuclear option in some context.
Yeah, I think there's been, you know, the only ones causing rumblings, quite frankly, are the Russians, right? So there's been all kinds of discussion around different elements. The Finns have great intelligence; they're very prepared. So we have every degree of confidence that the Finns in NATO are prepared for anything that the Russians can bring on.
Yeah, they've been dealing with the Russian threat for generations now. Ambassador Douglas Hickey, good to see you. Thank you very much for being here. Best of luck to you, sir.
Thank you.